The time is now 5:30. The date is November the 18th, 2025. We will call to order the meeting for the mayor and city council of Statesboro, Georgia. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by council member Jenny Hinton.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come together today with thankful hearts, Lord, as we go into the holiday season. Help us to be thankful. Help us to forgive. Help us to love. Help us to remember the reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ. Lord, please better our city and everything we do in all works of fields, and please just govern us in your mighty provision and help us to have sound minds tonight. And thank you again. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, recognitions and public presentations. We would like to have a recognition of our cohort 2 of the Emerging Leaders Academy. Mr. Penny, if you can give us some insight.
I'm going to call on Demetrius Vines, our Director of Human Resources, and he will explain the program and introduce us.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm before your front this evening to recognize the second cohort of our Emerging Leaders Academy. This academy was ultimately implemented by the city of Statesboro to identify high potential employees as we prepare our organization for the future. Of course, we, like other organizations in our community, we deal with challenges related to recruitment from time to time, as well as retention. And so it's important that we grow our staff and prepare them for future leaders, to be future leaders within our organization. So we had a number of employees participate in this cohort. We had 6 sessions that they ultimately covered over the last 6 months. They completed their last session earlier, actually in October. And so they're before your front, they'll be before your front this evening to be formally recognized by you. So I would like to, at this time, state each person's name and their department, and we'll ask them to stand. And then once they all have had an opportunity individually to stand, I would appreciate it if they could take a picture with the elected body. Okay. LaShawn Adams, Police Department. Stacy Aldridge, Finance Department. Stacy's not able to be with us this evening. Kyle Briley, Police Department. Jessica Collins, Police Department. And I don't believe Jessica's here tonight. Olympia Gaines, City Manager's Office. Cody Hanna, Fire Department. Cody's not with us tonight, but we congratulate him. Leah Harden, City Clerk. Ansley Lewis, Finance Department. Nicholas Lewis, Public Utilities. Jeff McCarty, Public Works. LaSara Mitchell, Village Builders.
All right.
Caleb New, Fire Department. Lane Phillips, Public Information. Garrett Robinson, Public Works. Alan Slater, Central Services. Derek Stoddard, Fire Department. Tyler Thibodeau, Public Works. Brian Williams, Public Utilities. And Brian's not able to be with us on this evening. So our second cohort was an awesome cohort, and I do believe the future of our organization is very bright because of these people, and so we want to congratulate them for their efforts to grow themselves professionally. Let's give them a hand. Now everyone can come for the picture.
I got you. Man, you got to be
I'm taking the picture this time.
I can help stage.
I can be in the back.
Yeah, Alan. Derek, maybe have you like little like birds. So you where to go? Then I go sit back over that room.
What you doing?
I always wonder what to do with my hands. I don't know if it's
Put him on that side. I'm gonna slide behind you. All right.
Okay, so we just do closes.
Olivia, you need to step up. You got that. The guy behind Anthony, he's out behind.
Just kind of stay right there a little bit. Okay. I think I can get him.
And we're playing.
I think I can get him anyway.
Did you say you a spot? Where are you going?
Try to get out of
Yeah, we gotta get you in here.
Let me get back there in the back. Just gonna get back there in the back.
Yes.
Okay, everyone looking forward? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's take another one. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, stay there. Lane.
There may be some people with cell phones.
Sure, fabulous.
Lane's not in place.
He needs to wear the.
I couldn't see Caleb in this photo, but I can see you right now. Okay, everyone just stay where you are.
Yeah, don't
good at telling
do it.
people
Don't
what to
do it. Smile.
Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, Lane.
Don't move.
I think you got extra this time.
He has taken 1, 2, 3. Oh, Lisa, say one.
That got the way to be.
Thank you. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Mayor, members of the council, this effort was headed up by our HR director. And I know, as I've shared with you about our organization, we don't make anything, but the most precious resource that we have is our human capital. And so to invest in our employees, the opportunity to grow their abilities and to develop and to move forward and move up in our organization is really important. And so I also want to appreciate Demetrius and the department heads for being willing to support these folks, because when they're in these classes, they're gone from their work assignments at least for 4 hours a day, 4 hours, 6 times in that 6-month period. And that's a commitment from the department heads as well as the employee. But it is a valuable, they're valuable assets to our organization. And so we appreciate your support as well to allow us to to be able to pour into our employees this way. And we thank our citizens for supporting this effort, because every time we improve our employees, that means that we're able to provide better services to our citizens and our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Penny, and congratulations for everyone that participated in that, because they worked so hard to serve the citizens, and it's an honor for us to be able to serve in these capacities. We want to move down to agenda item 4, public comments in regards to the agenda. Has anybody signed up to speak in regards to the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll move down to agenda item 5, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of the approval of the minutes for our October the 21st work session and council minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, we're going to bring agenda item 8 up to come before agenda item 6. This is an item that I will recuse myself from and turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Sherry Barr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve, we want to hear from Justin Williams about this issue before we declare.
Open a public hearing.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So before we hear from Mr. Williams, I need a motion, please, to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So, Mr. Williams, will you come and give us an overview on this item, please?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. So the petitioner is requesting a zoning map amendment on multiple parcels. They're looking to develop both a grocery store and some residential development. So currently this site is primarily vacant. There's a single family home, a defunct lawn care service, a large borrow pit, which is basically a swamp at this point, and some trees. The out parcels that the applicant has kind of laid out haven't been determined at this time, but they are determining the overall, tenancy that they would be looking to have here. There is a portion of this site that will directly access Whispering Pines Boulevard. That is the residential section of the development, and that will be shown in the site plan. The grocery store that is proposed is approximately 1.09 miles as the crow flies from the Publix. And it is approximately 2.2 miles away from the neighborhood Walmart as the crow flies, but it's actually about 4 miles away if you were driving. The wetland delineation on the property has been done. There is a judgment from the Corps of Engineers regarding wetlands on the site, and we will talk a bit about the site itself. So as you'll notice, there are 2 parcels that are being looked at right here. Additionally, there's some development proposed that is not currently within the city limits. It'll be a portion of the parking and access for the site that is in the county. That particular those 2 parcels are actually going before the county board in December. So they will be making a judgment on those properties as well. Unfortunately, the maps for some reason have still yet to update, but you'll notice this is in our developing neighborhood area. That calls for low to medium density residential and neighborhood serving commercial. So it does have a justification for NX within our comprehensive plan, which is what the applicant is requesting. You'll notice that the property itself is currently zone R3, so it's got medium density residential as a proposal for it at this time. There's an additional phase to the north of Whispering Pines Boulevard that is not a part of this request, but will come for future requests for additional residential development at a slightly higher density. You'll see the plan itself, or at least the layout as proposed at this time. Obviously, as the engineering work takes place, things will and can change. But if you could zoom in a little bit to the center portion of the site plan. So you'll notice the Kroger kind of positioned in the center. You'll see the out parcels just basically surrounding the site itself. On Whispering Pines Boulevard, you'll see that the proposal is really for a medium density residential, so some townhouses, apartments, that kind of thing is what they would be looking for, as well as a fairly large amenity space that would all access that road. So you'll see the subject property where I mentioned the house itself. That's situated on the Wishburn Pines Boulevard and Cypress Lake entryway. You'll see the north of the property from Cypress Lake Road on your right. You'll see on the southwest more Cypress Lake Road. You have the intersection actually on Cypress Lake Road as well on your right. Here's more of that intersection. So what you'd be facing from this particular location is actually the borrow pit, which is what I mentioned is basically the swamp area there. And you'll see the adjacent commercial property that's actually in the county to the northwest on your right. And you'll see additional, I would say commercial, but it's actually the Universalist Unitarian Church on the left. And then you'll see just additional portions of the property itself. It's just it's a fairly large property in a very specific intersection. So staff does recommend approval of both these rezone requests. The Planning Commission approved the request as well as the conditions associated with a 7-0 vote. And those conditions are as follows. The applicant must provide a wetland plan to ensure the mitigations of substantial issues before the issuance of an LDAP. The applicant must submit a traffic study in accordance with the requested site development before issuance of an LDAP. And to reduce the potential of negative environmental impacts on the site, the property owner must utilize standards from the Georgia Stormwater Management Manual to provide stormwater detention, TSS removal, overbank protection, and extreme flood protection in submitting engineering plans for this project. So, and that is specifically just, it's an option within our ordinance. It's higher than the standard that's normally required, but for a project of this magnitude, we felt it was appropriate to particularly give that condition. If there are no questions of me, that completes my report, and the applicant is present.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Williams right now? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to ask, is there anyone here who wants to speak for this request?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I am Steve Rushing. I'm an attorney here in Statesboro. Tonight, I'm excited to represent our applicant, which is Southeastern Property Acquisitions, LLC. They're out of Augusta. One of the representatives here is Rhodes Senior. Raise your hand in the Kroger blue coat. Also along with us tonight, we've got both our real estate agents that's kind of bringing this development to us. We've got Paul Newman and also Kevin Conley. Paul is also involved in the project, so hopefully we can try to answer any questions that you might have. It is the two properties, two owners currently, John R. Altman, local gentleman here in the community, and Three Eagle Solutions is our other owner of the smaller tract. All of this is under contract with our applicant, the developer. So it brings the total to 28.37 acres. And as Justin indicated, if you look at, would be the top right of our picture, which I think is the southeastern section of our project, that is the part that's currently not in the city limits. We studied that with staff as hard as we could about a way to get that as part of the city. But there's a Louisiana Pacific tract behind it that prevents us from creating an island. So that remains in the county, unfortunately, but we have a pending application for those two parcels at the county. That's roughly, I think, 6 acres. That would be, but it's included in this site plan that you see. Certainly the infrastructure that the city has available as far as water and sewer, natural gas is what interests us in this site. Right now, of course, it is in the R3 zone, which would permit well in excess of 200 residences if remained that zone and was fully developed. We've seen quite a number of residences come before you in the last couple of years. And so that's why we're looking at this one as a mixture, to mix in the commercial with some residential. That would probably take the number down to closer to about 75 residences in the real estate that would be somewhat bordering our commercial area with the existing residential development called Whispering Pines. So it's kind of flowing through. That's why we like the MX zone that we are seeking tonight. It lets us do both of those with the MX zoning classification. If you look at our site plan again, we have 4 potential out parcels. We don't have end users for those yet. It's kind of you build it and they'll come kind of thing, as you saw in front of Lowe's. They show up when you get it, the out parcels there. But that's kind of what we're expecting. So we're hoping for restaurants and similar type other commercial uses in those areas. We did expect some wetlands concerns. That's why we engaged the consultant, environmental consultant, who's been working diligently with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and they were able to determine minimal jurisdictional wetlands. It does look wet when you drive by because of the Barra pit now. Some folks, when we came before the Planning Commission, didn't know what a Barra pit was, but it's where they have removed dirt, of course, for roads and other developments in the county. I think it was possibly the bypass that it was used for, or it may even be older than that. But that's what is right there at the corner that you see now as part of our detention pond. We plan to still use it to help control the water. Now, we're just here tonight for the zoning. We have done some examination testing. We've, like I say, engaged some consultants already, but we've got a lot more to do, if given this particular zone, and we intend to do that. The conditions that have been recommended by the staff and the Planning Commission, those were things we would plan to do anyway. We're certainly going to need those kind of studies as part of our overall development plan. At the Right Start meeting, they talked about those things, certainly as far as traffic that comes with a project like this is of some concern. Thankfully, we've already got a light at the intersection that was dangerous for so long, but it's going to probably still need some reviewing by the traffic study. There was some discussion maybe extending the left turn lane that comes off of Lakeview onto Veterans further up Cypress Lake Road. But those kind of things, and that whatever that study will tell us is what we'll have to implement to make this project work. Now, the accesses that we have shown, one is to Veterans Memorial Parkway. That would be a right in, right out type. We're going to have to deal with the state DOT on that. So as part of the traffic study, we'll be dealing also with the state DOT. And then our other accesses would be onto Cypress Lake Road and possibly Whispering Pines Drive. Those we're going to be dealing with the county. Now, this particular tract of land is in the southwesternmost part of the city. And so that road is still a county road. It has not been adopted or part of this. So we'll be working with the county on those accesses. But certainly, clearly, it's going to be the state, the city, and the county involved in this project for that reason. Now, the standards of review that you rely upon in making your decision. We feel like support this rezone request. The principal standard, the compatibility of the proposed use to the existing uses of adjacent or nearby property. There is virtually a smorgasbord of zoning classifications in the general area. But you'll see there's already both commercial and residential uses all around it. Certainly between this use and Highway 301 South, you will find there already commercial uses being 2 automobile dealerships. There's a hotel, future hotel that's already been approved. There's multifamily, already some R3 being built there. To the west, that goes in, where we leave the city limits and go into the county, that is already zoned commercial as well to our west. It has some commercial uses. You saw the tractor dealership, I think, on one of the pictures. So you'll see highway commercial fronting on Veterans Memorial. That's why we've got our commercial proposed use on that side of the development. We believe the staff report did a great job in addressing all of these other factors that govern the grant of a rezone that all support our application, including the project's compatibility with the city's comprehensive plan. That was important. I'm glad Justin brought that up. As stated, we could not do this without the city's infrastructure. So that's why we're here. We expect there will have to be a lift station installed. That'll be all at our cost. We're not looking for the city to have to incur any cost. In fact, there's always the discussion when we bring residential uses solely before government that it's generally an upside down cost is what's usually anticipated. I try to argue against that, but certainly there's some cost that comes with if we had 200 houses there. This mixture will mix up the tax base as well for the city. So you'll have some residences, but you'll also have the commercial injection of taxes. You'll have sales taxes. You'll have employment with the commercial uses. So I really like this particular zone that the city has adopted a few years ago, this MX zone that makes this kind of project possible. Once again, we'll try to address all the concerns of the staff as we go forward if this is approved and this zone is granted. So we would ask on behalf of our applicant, Southeast Property Acquisitions, LLC, and the two property owners, that you adopt the recommendation of the city staff. You also adopt the recommendation of the Planning Commission that was unanimous and grant both of our applications for MX zone on these two tracts. Again, we'll try to answer any questions that you may have. That's a lot of information.
Thank you, Mr. Rushing. Is anyone else here who would like to speak for this request? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against this request?
I would.
Please come state your name and.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. My name is Josiah McDaniel. I'm a longtime citizen of Statesboro and a recent resident of the Whispering Pines subdivision. And so I am rising today in opposition to this development proposed for the corner of Cypress Lake and the bypass. In July of this year, my wife and I were thrilled to be able to purchase our first home in Whispering Pines neighborhood. And since July, we found it to be a quiet community full of good neighbors, and we have tried to be good neighbors to our new neighbors. And we love living there. So you might imagine my frustration when we learned of this proposed development. We are opposed to this development because it would put a busy commercial property right in our backyards. It would butt up against Scotch Pine. It would rob the peacefulness and privacy of our neighborhood and replace it with the noise pollution of construction and commerce, as well as increased traffic from both Cypress Lake and the bypass. And the project as laid out would effectively remove any natural buffer between our houses and the bypass as well. So in the daytime, we would be subject to increased traffic congestion as cars enter and exit from the retail area right at the light of an already busy intersection that I try to avoid as much as possible and go through town because of that, even now. And at nighttime, we would be subjected to the brightness of the flood lamps illuminating stores, parking lots, and gas pumps. And additionally, this project raises many questions to which I have not received satisfactory answers. And the first of which, why is it necessary to put a grocery store that close to another one when there's, as has already been mentioned, the Publix is less than 2 miles, and that's being generous, down the same road? And if proximity is not a factor, then why is it necessary to place a heavily trafficked commercial area right on top of an existing established neighborhood? Would anybody that's here want such a development in their backyard? If not, I would ask you to remember the golden rule and to not do to others what you wouldn't done to yourself. What you wouldn't want done to yourself. And so the next question is, why is it necessary for this project to include more housing developments? As I travel from home to work each day up North Main, to where I work, it seems like every available lot and parcel is being gobbled up by developers to build homes, townhouses, apartment complexes, D.R. Horton spec home subdivisions. And yet as these construction finishes, they look empty. They look unoccupied. So I ask, where's the demand for all these buildings? Have we not reached oversaturation? Why is it necessary, thirdly, why is it necessary to choose a parcel of land for this project that has wetlands on it? Why is the ecological impact of such a project not being taken into more consideration than it is? I will admit that the sad irony of sticking gas pumps on top of wetlands is not lost on me. In closing, I call on City Council to do the right thing and represent the residents who live here and pay taxes here and actually care about the community because we live here, rather than serve the interest of out-of-town developers who only care about profits. And so I ask you, what does Statesboro profit if she gains a whole world of commerce and yet loses her soul of being a great place to live and raise a family? But to be clear, I'm not opposed to commerce and development on the west side of town. Lord knows we need it on that side. I'm sure that it's almost impossible to stick anything else out by the mall. We need more on the west side of town. It would be convenient for a lot of people. All I'm asking is for the City Council to tell the developers to take their plans and find a more suitable location where the residential and ecological impact is less severe, even if that means going into the county or outside the city limits. So, in closing, I just say thank you for your time, allowing the voice of the citizens of this community to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. Is there anyone else who would like to speak against this request? Again, please state your name.
Beth Wolf. Hi. City Council members. My name is Beth Wolf, and I'm a resident of the Whispering Pines neighborhood and a longtime supporter of Kroger. When I first considered moving to Statesboro 4 years ago, I even contacted Kroger about expanding into this community because I believed it would be an excellent fit. I used to go to Kroger back where I lived, back in Savannah. However, I'm strongly opposed to the proposed Kroger site at the corner of Cypress Lake Road and 301, directly beside my neighborhood. This location presents serious environmental, logistical, and community impact concerns that I urge the council to consider. First, the development would destroy a forested ecosystem that includes a beaver-maintained wetland that is home to an abundant diversity of native wildlife. This area is not only beautiful, it also provides critical natural buffer for our neighborhood. Clearing it would cause irreversible harm and would forever alter the serenity and character of our community, especially unnecessary when Statesboro has an abundant, cleared, flat farmland that requires no deforestation all over the place. Second, the proposed location does not make sense from a community planning standpoint. It's just 1 mile from the existing Publix, creating redundant commercial congestion in an area that does not need another major grocery store. Meanwhile, other parts of Statesboro, particularly the west and the south sides, are underserved and far better suited for growth. There are multiple alternative sites that would support Kroger's success while protecting nearby neighborhoods. Just 1 or 2 exits west of the proposed location, there is ample flat farmland with direct access to growing higher traffic areas near the golf club and medical offices. Although these sites fall outside the city limits and under Bullock County's jurisdiction, they demonstrate that far better locations exist without destroying natural habitats or overwhelming a residential intersection already prone to heavy congestion and frequent incidents. Did much better practicing earlier today. An even stronger opportunity lies along Highway 67, an area also under Bullock County jurisdiction. With rapid expansion driven by the new Hyundai plant, this corridor is experiencing significant residential and commuter growth. A Kroger there would serve thousands of people traveling between Savannah, I-16, and Statesboro, the first full grocery option along that route. Much of the land in this corridor is already flat, for sale, ready for development, making it a strategic location for Kroger and the region's long-term planning. And don't forget, you've got Metter on one side, you've got Brooklet on the other. That would be a nice hub for them to come to as well. Perfect location. I'm not opposing Kroger itself. I actually love Kroger. I am advocating for a location that benefits the entire community and positions Kroger to thrive without harming neighborhoods, lowering property values, or removing natural environmental buffers. The alternative sites I described offer those advantages without the ecological and residential impacts of the current proposal. I respectfully ask the council to evaluate the significant concerns raised by residents and to consider that far better suited sites, though under county jurisdiction, are readily available and more aligned with responsible development and future growth patterns. Thank you for your time and thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who wants to speak against this request? Yes, please come to the podium.
This is the best one of all.
This might be a little bit different because there is something in this box. If that is okay that I open the box.
Well, tell us what it is first.
There is a turtle in this box.
Okay.
Okay, everybody wants to see, everybody wants me to open the box now. So I'll leave it right here in just a moment. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jordan Gray. I am a resident of the Whispering Pines community and serve on the leadership committee of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, Turtle and Tortoise Specialist Group. I support responsible infill that respects both existing human residents and the wildlife that depend on local natural habitats. However, I must oppose this proposed development as I do not believe it nor the adjacent tracts meet the standards of responsible development. Approving it would compromise the very principles that should guide our growth in the community. Today, okay, I'll open the box now. So today, I want to introduce you to one of the properties under discussion's vulnerable residents. This is an eastern box turtle named Cypress. Cypress came from a woodland on Cypress Lake Road, you all may know it, that was recently clear cut and has been graded and in which a new housing development is going in, meaning he has no home to go back to. Like all eastern box turtles, Cypress has no wings. He does not have long legs, so he cannot bound away like a deer. Cypress and the many turtles in this area are entirely at the mercy of those who steward the land and the decisions that we make. I'll place him back in the box right now if you don't mind.
Turn around.
Okay, everybody want to see Cypress here?
Here comes to our neighborhood. Buddies, all his buddies are from the neighborhood.
So you may have heard some comments there. These animals are common in this tract of land. So as anyone who traverses Whispering Pines Boulevard can tell you, this woodland is home to numerous eastern box turtles, each with a small home range of about 11.5 acres, far smaller than the larger development. Additionally, the wetland on the property that flows into Little Lots Creek and ultimately the Canoochee River is home to at least 5 different species of turtles. Habitat loss is not passive, it is violent. Animals are crushed under heavy machinery, displaced to places they cannot survive, or left to perilously cross roads. Most of us, including those that deforest woodlands, because it is just your job, I fully understand that, would never intentionally crush a turtle. Yet in development, many die in an out of sight, out of mind kind of way. Make no mistake, when we approve deforestation, we are not just removing the trees, we are approving the deaths of animals like Cypress that live there. Perhaps surprisingly, Georgia law protects box turtles from collection. Not a single person in this state may own a box turtle without a special permit. And to have that permit, one must also give annual reports on the specimen. I hold such a hard-earned permit to be able to present Cypress to you today. Developers, however, are not held to the same standard, but they should be. Because they are not, I believe they and those who approve developments have a responsibility to maintain woodland where possible, safeguard proper buffers, and minimize deaths of creatures who cannot escape. Proper buffers not only provide safe corridors for wildlife, especially during and after construction, but also preserve the woodland aesthetic our community cherishes, as you have already heard. Lastly, and I know this is now redundant, but traffic and safety are an additional yet highly consequential concern. The intersection at Cypress Lake Road and Veterans Memorial Parkway is already accident prone. Adding a high-traffic commercial center of this scale will likely require not only turn lane expansions and traffic signal modifications, but likely the widening of Cypress Lake Road itself. In closing, we have the opportunity to grow responsibly by filling derelict or non-ecologically viable parcels, such as low-yield agricultural tracts, rather than outright destroying woodland, by placing commercial centers at appropriate and strategic locations, and by reducing, not aggravating, traffic stressors. If done properly, we can integrate development into the landscape, protect wildlife, and maintain the beauty of our existing neighborhoods. I urge you to make the choice that protects both our community and the wildlives, like Cypress, that the land depends on. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, I did also receive a letter from a Whispering Pines resident. I was caught off guard. I do apologize for not providing it.
Thank you. So Mr. Williams has shared with the council a letter from Dr. Susan Cole at 7047 White Pine Avenue, who lives here and elsewhere, who is speaking against. I would like to voice my strong objection to this proposal. And her main concern seems to be about flooding. Are there others here who would like to speak against the proposal? Yes, please. Introduce yourself.
I'm Angela Rickard, and I live on Scotch Pine Avenue. All of these are kind of redundant points, but I did want to bring them up. I'm here today to express my strong opposition to the proposed development of a large grocery store and apartments directly behind my home. While I understand the need for growth, this project should come at a serious cost to the safety and character and environmental health of our neighborhood. This development would drastically increase traffic on our roads that are already strained, would raise noise levels, bring bright lights into what is currently a quiet residential area, and reduce the privacy and quality of life of families who already live there. Right now, we currently have a forest line behind our backyard that provides a very nice buffer and provides like a nice natural area for our grandkids to explore. And I feel like we would be robbing our grandchildren of that area once we remove it. Beyond that, this land serves as one of the last natural buffers in our community. Replacing it with concrete and high-density buildings means more flooding, fewer green spaces, and a loss of wildlife that calls this area home. Once that natural land is gone, it's gone for good. We are not against progress. We are against development that ignores the needs of the current residents and puts profit ahead of long-term community health. There are more suitable locations for projects of this size, locations that will not uproot the stability and safety of a long-established neighborhood. I urge decision makers to reconsider this plan, prioritize responsible land use, and protect the community that already exists there and already pays taxes.
Are there others who would like to speak against this proposal?
So I would like to add to Dr. Susan Cole. I'm her son.
Thank you.
Good evening.
I'm sorry, state your name.
Sean Colruth. My mother is in complete opposition to it, primarily because of the flooding. That was one. Seeing as that has been addressed, the other primary concern is safety for the residents. With the addition of the entrance from the neighborhood, that brings up a whole wide array of potential avenues that people could, like, there's crime. We as a community have relatively low. I'm almost fairly certain. I know I've only experienced one with a break-in my wife's vehicle. That was solved by SPD very well, very efficiently, and very rapidly. Aside from that, like, it's too close to the neighborhood. At the end of the day, it serves no purpose when, as others have said, Publix is right down the road. It takes 10 minutes to get, with the light being as gracious as it is, to Publix and home to get whatever you need. As others have stated, if you need anything more than that, if Publix does not provide, Walmart does. They're right down the road. It's not that far. That's all I have. Thank you.
Are there others here who wanted to speak against or for this proposal?
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, if I may just have a couple minutes to perhaps rebut.
Thank you.
Well, certainly from all that, I am glad to hear that a lot of them are in favor of Kroger's and the development, and it's what you hear a lot, that we just don't want it in our backyard, go somewhere else. But, ironically, some of the reason that we are looking at this site is, as I've indicated, the availability of infrastructure, water, sewer, gas, all these things are available at this site. But some of the other sites they mentioned are nice looking sites, but none have those infrastructure that we're looking at. I've also heard referred to our site as a natural buffer. There are some trees growing on it, but this is property owned by these two individuals. It's not a public, property or buffer. They have not chosen not to develop it up until now. But I'll remind the council that this property is already zoned R3. We're not looking here whether or not to develop the property. It could be developed tomorrow with 212 houses, and this natural buffer, could disappear regardless. But what we're trying to do is fall within the comprehensive plan that the experts from the city have adopted prior to today that said we would prefer a mixed use for this area, to mix commercial in with the residential. And notice again, we're putting residential between our commercial and the existing residential. That's kind of how the MX works. We don't have to get a permit for deforesting. I heard that term used. I mean, that could be done tomorrow as well. Now, again, we're hoping that there's no turtles injured in this process. And in fact, I will remind the council of the 3 conditions that the staff added to their recommendation that the Planning Commission adopted. And it addresses most of the comments that have just been indicated. You heard them stated by Justin earlier. The environmental concerns is one of the conditions. We've got to address those to the higher standard that's in that condition. Talked about the wetlands. We've got to get our jurisdictional engineers in here and show where the wetlands, how they're being addressed, and the potential for flooding. There's no floodplain on the property, by the way. If you look at the GIS maps, there is no floodplain in any of this 26 acres. We're not looking to distance ourselves from Whispering Pines. We're hoping they're going to be good Kroger customers. In fact, that's part of what, when people come, that's when the commercial comes. We've had so many people come to our area, including some that indicated they've moved here in the last 5 years. And, generally with that, you have those businesses that seek to provide services to those people that live here. We will have the traffic study. We've heard indications on that, what may be required. We'll have to comply with the traffic study, address all those concerns, which may involve the widening of Stoppers Lake Road, the extending of the left turn lane. Whatever those things done will be done not by the city, but by the developer at its cost. So we see this still as a positive for this area, not as the negative as you have just heard. But property, again, it's not a question of whether to develop it or not. It's whether to develop it smartly and according to the comprehensive plan with the inmate zone and not just the R3.
Thank you, Mr. Rushing. We're still in the public hearing portion of the discussion, and so is there anyone else who has not yet spoken who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Okay, one more. Yes, ma'am, come to the podium, please. I'm sorry.
I'm Miss Emily Rickard. I'm the Rickard's daughter, and I've had the pleasure of growing up within the Whispering Pines community. I did leave for a while to join the military, but now that I'm back in town, I do see the town that has developed within the past 5 years that I've been gone. My main concern is that with the growth and taking all of our forestry out, our animals have nowhere to go. That road is already so prone to hitting deers and wrecking cars that bringing more traffic in, although that we have stated that there's going to be regulations on that, that does not stop the fact that all of these animals will be displaced and they will be moving around and they will be more on our roads. So I think that we need to look at the fact that although it may be developed, it could be developed into a better situation for everyone. It doesn't need to be a giant commercial area where we're bringing more people in. In our community, we have around 200 houses, which is about 200 families. That's a lot of people that care about that part of the land and that community, and I feel like our voice is not being heard when we are constantly being told, well, the regulations of this, the regulations of that. 200 people, I'm not going to say don't care about the regulations, but that land has been there for a very long time, is home to a lot of creatures, and to displace all of them and bring more people into our already busy community would be an injustice to every one of those families. It has been a safe place to live, and I believe Mr. Cole had said that there's going to be more crimes. Already with the development behind with the Jimmy Britt and the two others, there's been more crime. There have been bullets go through people's house, which was never occurrent before that. So along with the animal displacement, there is crime that's going to move into that neighborhood. It's going to disrupt a quiet, peaceful, and safe neighborhood and put 200 families in more harm's way. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. There's no one else who's not yet spoken for or against. Then I need a motion to close the public hearing portion of this.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? So the public hearings portion is complete, and now council discusses what to do with what's in front of us. Council members, I'd like to ask the folks who are visiting us tonight because of this issue to stand so we know who's here for what. Those of you who have come tonight because you're against this development, thanks for letting me see. Have a seat. So, as we know, we can call anybody back to the stand and we discuss among ourselves the concerns. I do want to call attention to the fact that we did get an email this afternoon from the Beachy River Keepers. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see that. They also speak in opposition, not saying to deny it, but they're asking that we table the issue because of some concerns, which Mr. Williams did acknowledge. There's been some changes, a good bit of changes. I think the plans were submitted to Planning Commission the same day they voted on it. There's some things, the narrative says it's going to be one place, but the drawing shows someplace else. So there's some questions in my mind, as well as the concerns expressed by the river keepers. So they're asking that we defer it to a later meeting so that some of those questions can be better answered. What are your concerns or questions or comments?
My thing is we're voting on rezoning. that doesn't come up in rezoning, we're voting on the rezoning of it, so that's
But
where
these
I
are,
stand on it.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understood you. So these are considerations that we look at when we decide whether to rezone it from residential to this mixed use, which allows the commercial part of it. So I'm not sure I understood what you were saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we're here right now to vote on rezoning. And I'm thinking like other concerns or issues come up after we voted on the rezoning of it. We're not developing anything, we're voting on the rezoning.
But what we would vote to allow to be developed there is what the concerns are. If we allow this rezoning,
At some point, we're gonna have to vote on
so is there any further discussion?
I don't have a question. My thing is too mostly just the wetland. I could either or of it, but I'm okay. We just want to vote just to resign, but we still gonna have some things to discuss and consider, even with it be speaking on just the rezoning piece.
So yes, some of the environmental concerns were some of the ones itemized by the DG when they asked us to defer, so those could be better clarified. So I'm in a dual position here because as Mayor Pro Tem, since the mayor's recused himself, I get to direct the discussion, but I'm still representing District 5 and I still get to vote and can make motions. So hearing no other motions so far, I make a motion that we table this to our next meeting, so the questions could be better looked at and resolved. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Thank you. So there's a motion and a second, and I call the question. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All opposed? Nay?
Nay.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. So the motion carries that we will table this until the next meeting. Is that what we want to say?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry? They did. So the Riverkeeper suggested we defer it until December 16. So do we want to make it December 16 or do we want to just say give them the 2 weeks?
You know, the 2 weeks.
Okay. Is there a problem with that? Because we normally do these kinds of things at the second meeting of the month. Is that why they asked for that?
hearing. You've already had your public hearing.
We will have to?
No.
We do not have to. So it doesn't have to be the second meeting,
No.
Mr. Williams?
Might I need clarity in regards to your reference to the Ogeechee River Keeper? They did request changes to the conditions. Would you like that to go back before the planning commission before we bring it back to the council? Is that what you are requesting?
I would think so. Yes. So what's being debated is whether we want to just defer it to the next meeting or defer it until the 16th. But it sounds like the planning commission needs to look at it. That's another reason to make it the 16th.
Hold on. Again, we're dealing with a zoning matter. We're not dealing with a project. We're not dealing with the details of the issue. The matter is, are you going to deal with the rezoning because you're going beyond zoning?
Yeah.
The issue becomes, is this development appropriate? Is this zoning appropriate for this property? Regardless of what the project is the development appropriate for, its zoning appropriate for this land? That is the issue that is before council. It's not a matter of the environmental, the traffic, all of those things are things that you deal with in development after the fact.
Yeah.
This matter is only, is the zoning appropriate? Tonight, the presentation was the planning board felt the zoning was appropriate. Staff felt that the zoning was appropriate. What council chose to do is to table the item until whatever the meeting is, but to send it back to the planning board for something beyond the zoning is not what we need to do. Council needs to decide if the zoning is appropriate. That's the bottom line. If the zoning is not appropriate, case is closed. That's what council has to decide. So you decided you want to table it, and the issue becomes, when are you going to table it to? You're going to do it the first meeting in December or the second meeting in December? The public hearing was held tonight. The only reason you normally hold things to the second meeting is for a public hearing. Therefore, this item really should come to the first meeting in December for council to decide whether the zoning is appropriate. Sending it back to the planning board doesn't do anything because the zoning is the issue you gotta resolve.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you, Mr. Pettit. So the motion is to table this issue until the first meeting in December. And then it'll be back on the agenda at that point in time. All right? Okay. Having concluded that item, I return control to the mayor. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. That was a great sporting event. Let's go on to the next item. All right, we go down to agenda item 6, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2025-13. Ordinance annexing 79.46 acres of property on Lakeview Road. 6B, which is the ordinance 2025-15, ordinance annexing 19 acres of property on Lakeview Road. Item 6C, ordinance 2025-15, ordinance annexing 4.82 acres of property on Landfill Road. And ordinance 6D, item 6D, ordinance 2025-16, the ordinance annexing 84 acres of property on Landfill Road. And ordinance 6E, ordinance 2025-17, or ordinance annexing 38.73 acres of property on Lakeview Road. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second? All those in favor? All right, we got this now. The public hearing is now open. Justin, if you will, give us some insight in regards to this.
Mayor and council, these are fairly standard. If
You can't close the door. They're gonna have, I'm sorry, Brad, you can't close the door. They're gonna have.
Brad, don't close the door.
We just wanted to ask them to be a little quieter.
Yes, sir. In reference to these particular items, these are all a part of the landfill expansion. These were jointly initiated by the city and the county. Some of these are properties that are owned only by the city, but a portion of them are owned by the county as well. Even though these are, something that we initiated, we still have to follow the standard protocols for annexing property by the 100% method. So voting on these this evening will allow us to continue with the landfill expansion, bringing that all into the city so we can deal with all permitting for that area. And that is the extent for each one of these pieces of property.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Anyone here to speak against? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 7. Public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application SU 25-10-06. Brenda Neal requests a special use permit for the property at 9041 Whispering Pines Boulevard. Applicant requests the property be used as a foster care residency for children between 5 and 10 years old. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Justin, if you will.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This petition is a required item for this neighborhood. So the application is in accordance with the zoning classification, which is R6, one household residential. and it is in alignment with the comprehensive plan. As I mentioned, this is a requirement in our UDC for all group homes, regardless of tenancy type. Obviously, this is for children ages 5 to 10, but if it was for adults, we'd still have to go through this process in a residential zoning district. If you remember, there was another group home. We actually had to do a variance for that one, but that was due to its zoning district versus this zoning district. So this is a special use permit by right in this particular area. There's currently no licensed group homes in this neighborhood, which prevents any over-concentration concerns that you would have for these. Over-concentration of these types of residencies are actually a grounds for denial, but there are none at this time in this neighborhood. And the letter specifically that I gave to you earlier also had concerns related to this particular item. So if you look, you'll see that is actually to the side of it, and it's shown better. Austrian Pines. It was a road that was never developed in that neighborhood. You'll see that it is in the established residential neighborhood, which does require low-density residential development. Generally, it's a single-family neighborhood. And you'll see it is in that R6 zoning district. So on your left, you'll see the actual house. On your right, you'll see the house facing the north. You'll see directly across the street facing west on your left. And on your right, you'll see the house facing the southeast in that neighborhood. So it's all residential. Staff does recommend approval of SU 2510-06. The Planning Commission did recommend approval of this request with a 7-0 vote, along with the single condition on it. And that is the approval of this special use permit does not grant the right to conduct alterations to the property. All construction must be reviewed and approved by the city. I'll be glad to answer any questions. The applicant is present, and that completes my report.
All right, thank you, Justin. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone?
Good evening. I'm Brenda Ned, and this is Joanne Wilson. So we're just going to talk about the purpose of our group home and define the population that we're going to be keeping at the group home. So we're requesting a special permit at Whispering Pine 9041 for developmental delayed children. So our purpose is to provide temporary housing for children who cannot live with their families. We're going to provide emotional support and stability during a challenging time in their lives. We're going to ensure access to education, health care services, facilitating life skills, developing and personal growth, and promote social interaction and community involvement, preparing these children for eventually reunification with their family. And so our mission is to offer a family-like environment that fosters trust, respect, and belonging for children in need. Through consistent care, positive role modeling, community involvement, we aim to help each child develop the skills and values necessary for lifelong success. Our vision is to build a compassionate residential environment that provides stability, love, and guidance, helping each child become a confident, contributing member of the community. And there is a need for a demand for foster care homes. There is a demand for foster care to group homes because the state of Georgia has over 11,000 to 15,000 children that are in foster care due to a significant shortage of available foster homes. And so now Joanne is going to talk about safety of the group home.
Okay. As far as safety measures that we will put in place within the group home, because we want to not only provide safety within the group home, but also for the environment. So we will have background checks to ensure all staff, volunteers, and frequent visitors have past criminal and child abuse background checks. Security systems, we plan on installing outdoor lighting, cameras. We also want to have emergency preparedness, have written plans for fire, severe weather, lockdowns, and medical emergencies. Review and drill these procedures regularly. Visitor policies, we want to keep a clear visitor sign-in and in and out policy and supervise all visits with children. Property maintenance, we want to keep the yard clean, any outside maintenance, we want to make sure that is kept up. And as far as educating and preparing caregivers and residents, we want to provide behavior management training. Caregivers should use, trauma-informed care and de-escalation techniques. We want to build trust within the community. Community meetings, we're open to explain our mission, our structure, our safety standards, and licensing. Emergency contacts, we will always have that, provide that information as far as telephone numbers for our director or on-call supervisors. Also, we want to, all of this will be as part of our policies and procedures. Clear boundaries for children should understand appropriate neighborhood conduct and property boundaries. Conflict resolution, train staff in mediation to address issues calmly of misunderstandings if they arise. So we want to promote positive community integration. We want to encourage the youth to participate in local activities such as church, sports, volunteering to build healthy relationships. So our goal is to make a positive impact within the community.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here to speak against? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we move on to council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to know a little bit more from the folks who just presented or whoever can tell us about the capacity, how many children between the ages of 5 and 10 could be there, and how many staff people?
Three children, and there will be 2 staff members per,
At all times.
yeah, at all times, 24 hours.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we move down to agenda item 9, which is the public hearing consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 25-10-09, Borough Lane Consultants LLC and CE Investments LLC is requesting a zoning map amendment from HOC to R4 of approximately 0.49 acres of property located at 201 North College Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, yes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a fairly simple request. The petitioner is looking for a zoning map amendment. The intent actually for this property is to develop single-family housing. This is contiguous to other R4 property, so that is the most suitable zoning. It does align with the comprehensive plan as well. Currently, the site is vacant and it's adjacent to a mix of differing uses. The development of the property is really an infill project. It's an opportunity to get some more single-family housing in an area. The property to the north is to remain commercial. The owner actually we'll be looking to conduct some repairs on that property further enhance that section of the roadway. If you look, you'll see the property, as we've referred, is vacant. You'll see that is in that redevelopment area, which really looks for the opportunity to redevelop and build on underutilized parcels. And you'll see the current zoning, which we'll be looking to change this evening. You'll see kind of the layout. So there's 3 lots that are proposed. The requirements in the R4 would need those lots to be a minimum of 6,000 square feet in alignment with our existing R6 zoning district, and they do meet that requirement. You'll see the property itself. It's the big empty lot. You can actually see the commercial building in the background on your left, and then you'll see the northwest of the property on your right. You'll see the property facing west on North College Street, and then you'll also see the subject property facing the east. So it's just kind of a big corner lot. You'll also see to the side of it property facing the northwest. So this is adjacent. And then you'll also see property on the southwest. So you can see that use of buildings, the types of buildings are really low density. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 2510-09. Planning Commission approved this request with the conditions associated under a 7-0 vote. And that condition is the applicant must provide a subdivision plat for approval prior to the issuance of a building permit. And the applicant has actually already submitted that subdivision plat. So if this is approved tonight, we can go ahead and move that process forward.
All right,
That
thank you.
concludes my report.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Hello, I'm Nathan Brown, Borough Land Consultants. Appreciate staff's hard work on this and Planning Commission recommendation for approval on this. We actually own the building to the north as well. That's kind of been vacant for about 16 years now. If you're old enough, it used to be an Italian restaurant way back in the day. So we're trying to revitalize it and bring it back to life. And these 3 lots here to the south of that, we look to build single-family homes. They would be starter homes. Even though they're starter homes, they're still going to have fully sodded yards, landscaped yards. We'll have an entry price point of about $230,000, so it truly is a starter home for a starter family. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else to speak for? Is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we're gonna open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Sounds good.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 10. Public hearing, first reading of ordinance 2025-18, or ordinance amending chapter 74, adding article 3, special services district. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, Kane, if you will, give us an overview.
Mayor and Council, this is a new, this will be a new article in chapter 74, set for the special service district, and this, like we discussed with that cobblestone potential project that we discussed in work session a couple times. So this is just first reading for y'all, and if there are any revisions that need to be made or any questions, which is.
All right, thank you, Kane. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we're gonna open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve and move forward for a second reading?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll go down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to waive formalities under section 2-2-4 and unanimously approve ordinance 2025-19, or ordinance amending chapter 18, section 103 of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances to move the regulatory fee amounts from the code to the schedule of rates, fees, and fines. Mr. Penny, any additional information you can give us on that?
Mayor, members of the council, we try not to put monetary amounts in our code, because when we change them, it makes the code outdated. And so in this case, we will recommend that these fines or these fees be moved to our user fees and charges schedule versus being in the ordinance. Recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Petty. We're gonna open up for any discussion by council. All right, seeing that there's no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2025-30, a resolution approving staff to apply to the Georgia Department of Transportation for the Transportation Alternatives Grant for engineering design for the Creek on the Blue Mountain project. Mr. Penny, if you can give us a little insight.
Mayor, member of the council, we're going to ask for some forgiveness tonight. We had to submit, we received a grant from GDOT for trails on the Creek on the Blue Mountain project, $2.1 million project. However, once we receive that grant, it does require that we follow a process that to receive those funds. So it's going to cost some additional funding in order to be able to meet all of those requirements. We subsequently have submitted a request, submitted a grant to the GDOT in order to be able to get funding to cover the engineering design. And so we're asking for forgiveness tonight because we had submitted on October 31st. We're just asking you to approve it. So out of order. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Penny.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, any discussion by council?
This is the portion that's gonna help with the trails, designing the trails.
Right, to design it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 13. Consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2025-31, a resolution requesting local state legislative delegations to introduce legislation creating the Statesboro Public Facilities Authority. Mr. Kenny, anything additional you can give us there?
Mayor, we had the discussion this afternoon and we recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. We're gonna open it up for council. Anything from council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 14, which is consideration of a motion to approve a contract with Goodwin Mills, Kaywood, in the amount of $68,775 to perform phase 2 of a fire service fee study for the Statesboro Fire Department. Mr. Penny, anything additional you can give us on that?
Recommend approval, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. I want to turn it over to staff, to council. Any additional comments from council? All right, seeing there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move on to agenda item 15, consideration of a motion to amend the memorandum of understanding with FS2 Land Holdings LLC to cost share construction of a sewer lift station to serve Quail 1 subdivision project WWD-32-8. Additional costs will be paid with funds from the American Rescue Plan Act. Mr. Penny, you want to give us any insight on that?
Mayor, member of the council, we had an agreement with a memorandum of understanding. And what happened is there was some additional costs related to Georgia Power. And so with that additional cost, the cost share actually went up. And so what we're asking your approval for tonight is to approve the amendment of the MOU so that we can increase our share in order to cover that cost. And I want to make sure it's about a $12,550 increase in our share. But let me just say, this has been a great project. We've been able to get sewer to Quail Run, and this lift station. If that new development had not gone in, the city would have put a lift station in, and the cost of that lift station is almost $1 million. So this is a great deal.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move down to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to award a contract to DNR Utility Construction in the amount of $27,765.74 for the installation of two 12-inch insertion valves within the water distribution system at the GSU Stadium water tank to be paid for with operating funds approved in the FY 2026 capital improvement budget item number WWD-204. Mr. Penny, is there any insight you can give us on this item?
Well, we just need to replace these valves over time. Valves wear out. And those valves are important because when we need to turn off water, when you turn it off, you don't need water to still go past. And so we're having some leakage there. And so we recommend approval of this so we can replace those valves at that water tank.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. We're gonna open this up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's go down to agenda item 17, consideration of a motion to approve a bid and enter into a contract with Reeves Construction Company in the amount of $1,669,655.65 for the FY 2025 street resurfacing project ENG-128, work funded by T-SPLOST and G.L.MID funds. Mr. Penny, is there anything more you can give us on that?
Yeah, I'm just saying you got a good bid. It came in under what we had budgeted by almost a little over $100,000, and so we do recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's go down to agenda item 18, consideration of a motion to approve a utility relocation agreement with Georgia Power Company in the amount of $36,571 for the relocation of power utilities for construction of ENG-124E Max Lockwood Drive roadway improvements to be funded by T-SPLOST. Mr. Penny, anything you can add there?
Recommend approval, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving down to agenda item 19, consideration of a motion to approve a contract with Quality Tire Recycling LLC for disposal of scrap tires received by the Solid Waste Disposal Division to be funded by Solid Waste Disposal funds. Mr. Penny.
I really can't add anything there. We have to dispose of those tires, and we went through a bid process, and we recommend approval of the recommendation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any comments from council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 20, consideration of a motion to approve a master services agreement with Task Order 1A with EMC Engineering Services Incorporated in the amount of $1,453,474 for engineering design services for drainage improvements to Little Lobster Creek for the Creek on the Blue Mile project STM-34. This phase of work will be funded by ongoing GFA grant. Mr. Penny, any additional information in regards to item 20?
Mayor, members of the council, this is a real important contract. Earlier this year, maybe even in the last year, we separated from our Freezer Nichols. And so our work has been at a standstill with the Creek on the Blue Mile. So it's important to get this, we went back to RFQ process, qualifications, and we do recommend contracting with EMC so we can get this project back on task.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, let's move on to agenda item 21. Consideration of a motion to approve a master services agreement, task order 1 with Michael Baker International Incorporated in a not to exceed amount of $100,000 for engineering design services for the bridges on the Creek on the Blue Mile project STM-34 to be funded by GDOT. Mr. Penny, is there any more insight you can give us on
Yeah,
that?
this is the best deal right now. This helps us in our negotiation for the actual construction of the design of the bridges that are related to the creek on the Blue Mile. And so this is why it's just $100,000 contract, and we'll be coming back after they finish this task order. But it all ties together with a contract with EMC, and then a contract with Michael Baker for the bridge design. So all of that will eventually all tie together, but we do recommend approval of this task order.
All right, thank you, Mr. Petty. All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there's no further discussion, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, we move down to agenda item 22, other business from city council. Any other business from city council?
Yes, please, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to call attention to a couple of good things coming up to make folks aware. This Saturday, we'll have another one of our resource fairs that Village Builders put on. This one will be on Little Lots Creek, which is the apartment complex on East Jones and Mulberry. That'll be from 10 to 2 this Saturday. It's a fun family event, free, lots of resources. Come bring the children. Other things coming up, I'm sure Mr. Penny's going to remind us about the tree lighting that's going to happen across the way here next week. Also, I want to highlight that the city of Statesboro, through its various commissions and different groups, have given away a lot of trees in the last several weeks. I know of 100 at one event and 100 at another event. So we are a green city. We are trying to increase and improve our urban canopy that makes the air cleaner and the space happier for all of us. So I just want to applaud the Tree Board and the City Greener Borough Commission and the KSBB, Tamika Shannon, all the folks who work to make that possible, to give away those trees that more people here in Statesboro can plant. There's also a city program right now where you can get some refund. It's a good time to be planting trees in cold weather. And so there's actually a program, get on the website and look it up, where you can get reimbursed up to $150 for planting a tree inside the city of Statesboro. So check that out. Also highlight recent Recycle Fest was a wonderful community event, partnership between the city and various sponsors, and we recycled a lot of stuff and kept it out of the landfill. Also had a Fix-It fair where people could bring small appliances and get them repaired for free. There'll be another event like that on December the 5th when we have 2 downtown holiday events. One right here on Main Street and another one over at the Visitor Center at the market. And we'll have a Fix-It fair downtown that night too. So stay tuned for details about that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Any other business from city council? All right, we move down to city manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I want to do was congratulate Mayor Jonathan McCollum, Council Member Angie Johnson, and Council Member John Riggs on their re-election. This is our first meeting since the election, so we wanted to congratulate y'all on your victories. Wanted to mention, want to go first to utility assistance. If y'all remember actually right out of COVID, we got some CARES Act funds and we set up about $75,000 and eventually I think it was about 62 the Action Pack used to help people with utility bills. And so those funds over the last 3 years, it's taken us 3 years to spend that $62,000. Well, it's gone, okay? And so, but the need for assistance has not gone away. And so tonight, what I wanted to recommend to council is that we still have some interest from ARPA funds. And so I was going to ask council if you would consider approval of $50,000 from interest earned on ARPA funds to be utilized with Action Pack to be able to continue with utility assistance and rental assistance. And if you're interested in doing that, I was going to ask you to consider making a motion so we can get that on record tonight, if you're interested in doing that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny.
I'm not finished.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, I'm asking you if you wanna do that.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Mr. Penn. I'll come back to you. Yeah. Is it a motion to approve $50,000 in interest funds from Arbor, to continue our support with Action Pack in regards to utilities and other, necessities?
Second.
It's a motion.
And I second.
And you second it. All right, all those in favor? All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. If you will continue with, city manager comment.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll take care of that. I do want to just recognize that, once a year I get to dress in my colors. Yesterday was Founder's Day for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We were founded on November 17, 1911 on the campus of Howard University. 4 young men founded our organization, and so whatever 1911 to 2025, I think about 114 years old. And so I just wanted to call that to your attention this evening. And I appreciate y'all allowing me to do that. I do want to mention that, Mayor, you were involved in a conversation with Georgia Power and Representative Lehman Franklin came to us because he was at a program and he heard about some benefits that Georgia Power offers to residents for assistance, and you have to be a certain age in order to qualify, and you have to be on SSI. So they would like the Georgia Power markets that program, but they also come to the community and talk about it. And so what they'd like to do, and I think December 6th, they'd like to have really sort of like a resource fair. And we were trying to find locations to do that. So City Hall appears to be a good location. In the council chamber from 10 to 2. So they will market that to people in the community about the different programs that they have. And I had staff on call, Lane and Jason and Brittany were all on the call. And so we want to work with them, and Representative Franklin I saw him Saturday night. He was talking about we got to get together and help our public know about these opportunities. So I just wanted to call out and ask y'all to save that date, but it'd be from like 10 to 2. We'll be here in City Hall, and so that, which is a Saturday. Next week on the 25th from 5 to 5:30, we will be doing the Christmas tree lighting. First time we've done the Christmas tree lighting in the Art Park. 26-foot tree, and it's already there. Councilmember Henley told me she and her children they watched that tree go up. It has not been topped out yet, but next week, and then on the 25th, we'll light that tree, and then there'll be shopping by candlelight over at the Convention and Visitors Bureau and at the Farmers Market, and then we will light City Hall as well. And so we'll call that to your attention this evening. But there's excitement in the air about Santa Claus coming soon.
That's right.
So we just want to let folks know. Then want to lift up our staff as well. The finance department is being recognized. I don't know how many years in a row they're being recognized for by the governor's finance officers for excellence in both financial reporting and budgeting. And then they're also being recognized for a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. And so what I tell our staff is that these recognitions validate the good work that they do. And so we will have the staff come in at appropriate time in the next couple of months, so mayor and council can recognize Ms. Cindy or her staff for the great work that they are doing. And then I know the mayor's going to be out of town, but we are finally going to have the ribbon cutting for Bryant Landing on November 20th at 3:00 p.m. over at 400 Donnie Simmons Way. I think we have 51 apartments over there. It's a great reuse of the old Judy B. Bryant Elementary School, and they built new units on that site as well. And so we're excited about being able to be a part of that. And let's see if did I miss anything? It's what happened when we go a couple of weeks without having a meeting. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
We'll move down to agenda item 24, public comments. Are there any public comments? Seeing that there is none, I'm gonna move down to agenda item 25. I know we have personnel. Is there any others? Hang on a second. All right. Agenda item 25 is consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters as well as real estate in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right.